Commodity TV, ladies and gentlemen. It's the third day here in Toronto, and you see it in my back. So the people are coming still. It's a bit in the afternoon, but the interest is very high, and I have the pleasure and honor to have Dan Dickson beside me. He's the CEO of Endeavour Silver, a great mid-tier producer of silver. So Dan, thanks for having your time, and how are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a busy 3 days, but it's part of the job. We kind of run around Toronto and meet as many people as we can and get our story out there. So it's been a good 3 days.
100%. But in this environment, so gold over 5,000,
Yeah.
silver at an all-time high. So what are your thoughts about all these situations?
You know what? I think fundamentally for us, obviously there's still a lot of geopolitical tension going on in the world. The fundamentals behind silver hold very strong. We still are in structural deficits. Industrial usage for silver continues to grow. So I think we're in a very good position. We've positioned ourselves extremely well to take advantage of these prices. And ultimately, we think these prices are going to sustain for a little while and hopefully take advantage of this over the next 5 years. We got some projects coming that are really going to take us even the next level compared to where we are today.
100%. And you had a great 2025. So just give us some information about the last year, or what are your expectations for next year?
Yeah, 2025 was really transformative for us. We finished building the Terronera asset. We took that into commercial production October 1st. We bought the Kolpa mine in Peru. So we forayed into Peru for the first time for Endeavour. It's an asset that's going to produce about 5 million silver equivalent ounces per year. We are going to grow it in 2026. So we're excited about that. And then we also divested an asset. We sold Bolañitos, and we closed that early in 2026, but really was a transformative year. Our operations performed as expected. Guanaceví and Bolañitos had good years. Terronera now is our future. Ultimately, we expect to be a low-cost producer. We're going to see that come through in 2026. And then beyond that, we continue to advance Pitarrilla last year, and we're really moving towards our feasibility study that's expected mid-year this year. We're excited for that to come out. We're excited for the next leg of growth for Endeavour.
Perfect. How was the ramp-up situation and the commercial start now at Terronera?
You know what? It's going relatively well. Nothing's perfect. Nothing's linear straight up. It's two steps forward, one step back. We had a very good Q3, allowed us to get into commercial production. Q4 was similar. We didn't make a lot of gains. I think we've made significant gains in January and February. We really hit in our throughput well above 2,000 tons per day. Our grades are aligning with plan. Recoveries are still grinding its way up. We're expecting 89% recoveries on silver. We're getting about 85, 86 right now. 77% on gold. We're about 75%. So we're getting there. We've always said to the market that expect us to hit all the nameplate numbers by mid-year, and then really focusing on trying to drive our costs now. We had a big push to get into commercial production, big push to get over that finish line. Now we're trying to get those costs out, get the consultants off site, remove our construction team. We do have some sustaining capex we want to get done. One-time items that have pushed up our all-in sustaining costs. We're really focused on operating costs, our cash costs at this time. I think our all-in sustaining costs are going to come in line with expectations in the back half of the year and going into 2027. So things are going well, knock on wood.
Nice. One question I have is about the situation in Mexico. So there was this isolated security issue, I would call it. How do you see that?
Yeah, I mean, it was an event. Ultimately, the Mexican government decided to take out one of the cartel leaders, and that created a bit of chaos for one day. I think the cartel was voicing their dissatisfaction. They actually didn't hurt a lot of civilians. Some civilians got hurt in the crossfire. They did a lot of blockades. We actually operate Terronera only an hour and a half from Puerto Vallarta, and that was kind of the center of it. And a lot of chaos on Sunday. Things kind of got back to normal Monday and Tuesday. We shut down the mine Sunday night. There was a code red in Jalisco asking for all civilians to be in shelter, under shelter, be in their homes. We restarted operations on Wednesday, and things have been going relatively well. So we were down for 2.5 days. Really from a precautionary standpoint, the fact that we didn't have access to Puerto Vallarta, it was a safety issue. If we had an incident at the mine, we had to get someone to a hospital. We couldn't get them there for about a day and a half, and then ultimately go through protocols, talking to municipalities, state levels, federal levels, if everything was good to kind of get back to normal, and now it is. So we're going to monitor it now for the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, see how it goes. The concern is what type of vacuum that creates. But again, we have our security teams that handle that. Our transportation routes, we're probably going to beef up security a little bit just to have a presence. It doesn't necessarily deter anything else from happening. It just kind of bulk up and prevent it or deter ultimately people from looking at that stuff. So very interesting. I think we're going to be fine. We're going to get through it. And ultimately we have the security in place that handles all that stuff for us.
So also the shutdown of 2.5 days, does it have any impact on the numbers?
Very minimal. I mean, we can make that up. Ultimately, we wish we don't have down days because we lose the rhythm. And that rhythm impacts recoveries, obviously throughput, and concern for our staff. But really small potatoes in our 10-year reserve life. We expect to be there 25 years. Losing 2 to 3 days doesn't really impact us in a significant manner.
Okay. How is your numbers forecast in total for Endeavour Silver for 2026?
Yeah, well, we put out guidance. Ultimately, we expect cash costs between $13 and $14, all-in sustaining costs 28 to 29. I think a lot of our viewers need to understand that we have a lot of royalties, purchased ore, tolled ore that goes through some of our plants, special mining duty that elevates as an EBITDA tax. Sure. So that's all built into our all-in sustaining costs. So with higher prices, you're going to see higher costs. The things that we control, mining, milling, and indirect costs, on-site G&A, that stuff's all kind of pushing up about 5, 6, 7%. But otherwise, we're trying to do our best to keep the costs in containment as best we can.
Do you see cost improvements for the next years?
Yeah, as Terronera gets to nameplate and gets into rhythm, we're going to see their cost per ton come down. Now, we put out guidance of $135 cost per ton. We're higher than that right now, and that's gonna come down as we go through 2026 and into 2027. Again, we have sustaining capital in Terronera in 2026 that would I'd be deemed to be one-time items, completing of the LNG plant, buying out our backfill plant, things like that will elevate our all-in sustaining costs. Going into 2027, we expect kind of normal sustaining capital, and that will drive our costs down there. Similar at Kolpa, we're going from 2,000 tons per day to 2,500 tons per day. So we're going to get some synergies from kind of through the mill and G&A that will drive that cost down. And Guanaceví's the world that we live at Guanaceví. It's a pretty, we've been operating there for 22 years. It is what it is. It's pretty steady state. It's got very high royalty costs. So it's going to be a higher cost producer. And that's where Guanaceví is. Continue to look for new discoveries there. If we can bring on new resources that can drive costs down potentially, but we're a ways away from that yet.
Terronera was a big milestone, so congratulations on
Thank
that. And what's coming next? How does it look like with Pitarrilla?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't end, right? Like there's always something more to do. We're a mining company. We're always depleting our resources. We're very excited about Pitarrilla. It's kind of the next level for Endeavour. Terronera is a special asset. It's going to be one of the lowest cost producing assets in our space. Pitarrilla is going to have a very similar cost structure. Different. It's not going to have the same grades as Terronera, but the volumes that we can get out of Pitarrilla in a very small space. We're looking at somewhere close to 4,000 ton per day operation. We're going to have a feasibility study out by July or Q3 of this year. Our expectation is going to be a tier 1 asset, significant production, relatively low costs, and an asset that we're going to be at 15, 20, 25, 30 years.
Nice.
Gating item is ultimately one permit. We're waiting for a tailings storage facility permit. We expect that in Q1 2027, and that's our construction point. If we get that permit, that's probably the goal, or ultimately the goal to get to construction. That's our deciding factor.
Nice. Beside all these organic growth and your expansion plans, do you also have an idea about M&A to get another project?
You know, it's all about sequencing and resource allocation. So obviously we have good cash on our balance sheet. We're generating a lot of cash flow. It comes down to how do we have for resource allocation of our expertise, our staff, our labor, our geologists, our engineers. And we're really excited about Pitarrilla and what we have at Pitarrilla. If we're looking at something, it's how does it sequence in with Pitarrilla? Obviously, we're waiting on a permit there. We expect that in Q1 2027. If we can find something that would happen in the meantime, if we think there's delays in that permit, maybe you slot something in. Ultimately, you're probably looking for something that comes in after Pitarrilla, just because of the scale of Pitarrilla. We don't think there's many assets better than that out there. Always looking at cash flowing assets. Obviously, we're new to Peru. We're still scouring the landscape of Peru, try to add resources and ultimately production down there. So lots to do. We want to be here. We want to continue to grow. I mean, the silver space is very small. We see ourselves as part of it. And we see ourselves as a key part of it for a long time.
Perfect. and you're printing money, so you have the opportunity to do whatever you want in that case.
Yeah, we have to
course,
be disciplined. We are.
It has to make sense.
Yeah, we do have significant cash flows, and it's going to put enough cash in our balance sheet to make that decision on Pitarrilla, and hopefully be able to finance it from our existing cash flows at this point in time. So if we can be smart with that and continue to deliver accretive growth for our shareholders, I think everyone's going to be happy. And then ultimately we start looking at resource allocations back to shareholders.
Amazing. So the shareholders in the next 3 to 6 or 9 months, which catalysts do you see?
Two big things. Obviously, the execution at Terronera, hitting all our nameplate, throughput, recoveries, grades, and showing the market that, and ultimately the costs. And behind that, so execute at Terronera and then deliver a feasibility study at Pitarrilla, and get the word out of what Pitarrilla really is for the market, how much silver it will produce, and what the cost profile will be. So we're very excited about that. Those are the two key milestones for Endeavour this year.
Perfect. Sounds good. I'm looking forward for the next news releases. I'm a happy shareholder, so keep
Glad to hear.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dan Dickson, the CEO of Endeavour Silver, and you heard it. Endeavour Silver is doing great. Terronera is doing good. The ramp up was perfect. Now it's a commercial production. So many new things are coming. Check out the company, and bye-bye here from Toronto.